Hi, you guys. Hope you enjoyed Easter and are appreciating how fast we're moving through this class. I wanted to do today's lesson on dentition, if it isn't already obvious, and really focus on dog's teeth, cat's teeth, and then human teeth as well. I know that the animal teeth are going to be a refresher for us since we all are vet techs, but the human teeth, I think, is a really important aspect too, because one of our main jobs is taking the information that the vets give us and translating it so that the clients and the owners can better understand what's going on. And to be able to give them something to compare to, something they can look into their own mouths and see, is a really important tool to use to help them understand the best health for their animals. Our mouths, for example, we're talking about brushing them every single day and having such a beautiful white smile all the time. And for our animals, that just doesn't seem to be the case. I have a lot of animals come in that have never had a dental cleaning in their lives, and it just isn't something that clients are often focusing on. Now, I know that all of us are in clinicals right now, so I wanted to start off with a case study. Not too long back, we had a 3-year-old boxer come in with an abscess in her lower gums. In physical terms, that means it was red, it was swollen. Once we poked it, it had pus that came out of it and was really, really bothering her. When we did the physical examination, we noticed that she was also missing a tooth. And then we decided to do x-rays, which showed us something even more interesting. Now, I want you guys to think about what we might have found and what might have been causing such a huge abscess in her mouth as we kind of work through this information, because I think it's really interesting to see if we can pick up what aspects we might really want to be focusing on when we're looking at our animals. To start off, I wanted to do a little bit briefly of dental anatomy. I know I don't have a lot of time. When we look at our tooth, we have the top part, which we call our crown. That's consisting of our enamel and our dentine. And then we have the root, which consists of everything else inside. Now, our enamel is the hardest tissue that we have in our entire bodies. That's for us and for our animals. So that's why we're brushing all the time. We want to make sure that stays nice and clean so no bacteria is breaking it down. If bacteria does break it down, we'll start to see wear and tear that gets into that dentine layer, which is also hard tissue, but it's growing throughout our entire lifetimes as well as in animals. So that is, in comparison to our dentine, something that we have our whole lives. Unfortunately, when we break through our enamel, our dentine is going to start feeling very sensitive and feeling cold water or any hard foods that we're trying to break down, and causing more issues on the internal structures, which consist of the pulp and the roots that come down to the apex. Now, at the apex, we have these holes, these gaps, or these canals, which will close when our teeth are fully grown. We know that in some species in horses, these never close, so they have teeth that are continually growing, but for us, they will close. And when they close, they create our normal permanent structure, which I have up here for us. In the human permanent structure, we have the same types of teeth that we have in our dogs and our cats. The top teeth are our incisor teeth. Then we have our canine teeth, which in humans is known as a cuspid. Our premolar teeth, which in humans is known as a bicuspid. And our wisdom teeth, our molar teeth ending in our wisdom tooth, which is the same that we see in our other animals. Our incisors and our canines are helping us to grab and bring in and rip meat material when we're eating something tough like that. And our premolars and our molars are helping us crush or break down and grind some of that flat vegetative material that we have as omnivores eating both meat and vegetables. In the numbering system in the States, we have what's called the universal numbering system. It's ironic because they don't use that anywhere else in the world. but they start off with 1 in the right upper wisdom tooth, and they continue around to 16 in the left upper wisdom tooth. That jumps down to 17 in the left lower wisdom tooth and continues to 32 in the right lower wisdom tooth. Pretty simple and very easy to use, and something to think about when the next time you go to the dentist and they're talking about your teeth. We have on one quadrant 2 incisors, 1 cuspid or canine, 2 bicuspids, hence the name bicuspid, as well as what we call for animals premolars, and then 3 molars, again ending in our wisdom teeth. This is less than what we're seeing in our dogs, which have their 3 incisors, the 1 canine, the 4 premolars, and the 2 premolars on the top, 3 premolars on the bottom. The numbering system for animals is called the triadan system, and it's a little bit different than what we're seeing up here and not necessarily as intuitive. If we're looking at our right upper quadrant, we call these the 100s, and we start on the inside of our incisor, starting with 101, 102, 103. Our canines are going to be 104 because our canines are always ending in 4. And then we start our premolars with 105, 106, 107, 108. We always end our last premolar with 108, regardless of the species. And then we always start our molars with 109. So we have 109 and 110. Now that first number changes based on the quadrant that you're in. So our left upper is going to be our 200s, our lower left is going to be our 300s, and our lower right is going to be our 400s. This is really important to think about when we consider moving on to other species such as our cat. Our cat, for example, has significantly less premolars and molars because they just don't have any need to break down vegetative materials. They're obligate carnivores. Their digestive system literally can't process any of that materials, so they're not eating it anyway. Why would you need the teeth? In this section, we're going to start off with 101, 102, 103, just like we have for our dogs, our 3 incisors. We then have our 1 canine, which is going to be 104, always ending in 04 for canines. But then, because we're missing our premolar, we're going to jump to 106. We only have 3 premolars in cats, so we have 106, 107, 108, and 1 molar. So that's going to be 109, always having the 09 for that first molar. It's even less on the bottom, so for example, if we come to the lower 300s, you're having a 301, 302, 303 for the incisors, 304 for the canine, and then all the way to 307 for that premolar because it is missing 2 on the bottom. 307, 308, and then 1 molar is going to be 309. Now thinking back on all of this and thinking back to our boxer, when we did the x-ray, we found that one of these teeth, the first premolar, had not fully erupted. And it's actually going to be the first premolar down here because it was on the bottom jaw. When the teeth don't fully erupt and we're missing, quote unquote, those teeth, it creates a gap in our gums that can be very, very bad for the animal. So in our x-ray, we did see that a cyst was formed or a gap where fluid entered that actually needs to be removed. Luckily, we have a surgical bay, so we were able to take her into surgery, remove the cyst. We actually had to remove all of her premolars in the process, but this is much better than any other situation where we would have to consider dealing with a larger dental issue if we hadn't noticed the abscess in the beginning. So this is just one example of really, really focusing on trying to push dental health in our clients and in our animals. and really learning about the teeth and the importance they have for our being a veterinary technician. Now I ran through that very fast, just like I did my introduction. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. And I look forward to learning a lot of cool things from you guys as well. Ciao, ciao for now.